Hello everyone, welcome to week 4 of the Olympian Draft League, and your Ursa Major is up against SnB and the North Carolina Charizards. Pretty interesting team. It's a very hard stun room team, so it's almost entirely special attackers. He has Wordier as a physical attacker, and I think there's maybe one other Pokemon, Alolan Exeggutor could be. Other than that, his entire team is special, so we're planning for his entire team to be special pretty much. I think we are somewhat prepared for those other two Pokemon. I think Wordier's definitely coming. I don't think that Alolan Exeggutor is great here, but maybe he brings it just because he wants to, maybe because it's good into some of my Pokemon. I think that's a possibility, but I'm not going to spend too much effort thinking about it. I'm really trying to shut down the majority of his team, which are special attackers. So to start, you can see that Ursaluna has the AV item along with max special defense, not max HP. We're just running max special defense on everything. Just like against Alberto's team, we ran max Phys Def against everything. So max special attack and max Def. And then very standard moveset, except attacking Snarl on the end because we want to reduce the power of those special attackers, which he has many of. Then Sinistcha, I'm running Heat Proof this week actually instead of Hospitality, just because of the Torkoal and the Armarouge, two strong options. This means I don't even need Terra to be neutral to it, but once I Terra, I 4 times resist fire. And then I'm running Protect, Imprison, and Trick Room, meaning I imprison his Protects, meaning he can't Protect, which is huge for me, and he can't click Trick Room. So he's in a really bad situation where his priority should be to get rid of Sinistcha, but Sinistcha is not easy to remove with that Terra Water and with Citrus Berry and with max special defense. So it's really going to be a problem for him, I imagine. And when he can't get up Trick Room, his team underspeeds, notably Hisuian Samurott, who can OHKO a lot of his team and do a vast majority of their health for the other remaining Pokemon. But it's a very, very strong duo of imprisoning him and then outspeeding and doing crazy damage. Without that speed control, I can move first and really reduce his output. Speaking of reducing output, we have Eerie Impulse as a weird move on Porygon 2 this week, just to, again, lower that special attack as much as possible. We're running max special defense yet again on the whole team pretty much. Running Trace almost exclusively to try and trace the Flash Fire from the Armarouge, because if I'm able to trace Flash Fire, then Torkoal is instantly terrible against me. So I'm in a really good spot if I can trace that. Otherwise, Trace is not super useful, but I think it's better to run this than Download, which most of the time is not doing too much for me. Recover, just because I'm trying to reduce his damage output as much as possible, so he can still slowly chip away at my health, but with Recover, makes that really hard to do. I'm running Protect on pretty much this whole team just to deal with Trick Room turns. Terra Blast is a very good option, and Terra Water Terra Blast allows me to hit some of his team. Actually, I might change it to Terra Grass Terra Blast, just because if I can copy the Flash Fire, and then Terra Grass Terra Blast is great into the Gastrodon as well. Just as another answer to Gastrodon, you'll see that I'm running Terra Grass Terra Blast on Samurott as well. That's Porygon. And then looking at Copperajah is in a really good spot to shine this week. Running Heavy Metal instead of Sheer Force is really odd, but it's mainly for these two moves, Rock Slide and Snarl. Getting the 30% chance for it to flinch on the opposing side is really nice, because with 32 speed and with the room service item, I will underspeed his entire team, including Torkoal, which is huge because Torkoal is the slowest thing in the world. I get high horsepower for dealing with that, and for the Armarouge, Knockoff is great into his plethora of psychic types. Snarl is really good in hitting those psychic types again. It's a spread move, which is really nice, and decreases the special attack output yet again. And then Rock Slide for the flinches. And I think Raj has a great chance to be super scary this week, despite running an ability that effectively does nothing. Volbeat is a little bit of a weird set this week because I'm running Prankster against Psychic Terrain, which feels a little unusual, but if you look at my moves, none of them are actually affected by Psychic Terrain. Light Screen and Rain Dance affect things on my side of, or and Tailwind, I guess. All of them affect things on my side of the field, or affect the field generally. They're not targeting the opponent, meaning there's no Psychic Terrain effects that can happen there. And Struggle Bug's a normal attacking move. It doesn't get affected by Prankster, obviously. So it's really good for being able to do what I want to do as the fastest thing in the field in and out of Trick Room without being affected by the Psychic Terrain or having that ruin my plans at all. And then The Moringa Berry increases the special defense after I'm hit with a special attack, and I'm running max special defense on top of that, as you can see here. So I'll have a very, very respectable special defense stat after he hits me with one special attacking move. And again, the goal is just to decrease his special attacking output as much as possible. So I'm in a really good spot here to just have longevity on this thing, which can be really annoying for him because I can do a lot to just constantly weaken his team. Tailwind is a move that I added last minute because I decided that I wanted to have a speed control. If I'm running Imprison on Sinistra, I want to imprison his Trick Room. Then with Tailwind, even things like my Ursa Luna should hopefully be able to outspeed his Armarouge depending on his investment. Realistically, I can outspeed his whole team with just one Tailwind, and my entire team can outspeed his entire team, besides maybe Caparaja. So that's a really good feeling, knowing that I have the ability to outspeed him in and out of Trick Room with Raj in Trick Room and outside of Trick Room by using Tailwind. And then my final Pokemon here is Hisuian Samurott, which is a little bit of a weird set, but I like it a lot. Running max attack for the knockoff and Razor Shell, which does so much into his whole team. Very, very scary, pairs with Sharpness, obviously. Just the Razor Shell this week. It is what it is. I didn't feel comfortable running the Ceaseless Edge over knockoff because I didn't want any chance of it missing. I feel like that could really, really mess things up for me if it missed. And second of all, seeing and getting rid of his item is really good for me. So I think that's a great option. Snarl's yet another great option because he might not expect me to click Snarl right away. Terragrass, Terrablast for the Gastrodon. I'm running 4 special attack and not actually a decreasing special attack nature. I'm not running like something like Adamant because I want to increase Snarl's power, and I think I'm going to be clicking Snarl a fair bit, so it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for me to decrease that. And with this speed tier, unless he's not min speed Armarouge or not minus nature to Armarouge, I should always outspeed him, which is good because I don't really care about my speed stat too much, given the fact that he's probably going to be running min speed on everything, I would imagine. And Samurott with the Dread Plate especially means that Snarl and Knockoff can do so much damage, and I don't have to worry about my health getting chipped down with Life Orb. I can stay on the field as long as possible, and that's kind of the idea with this whole team. You can see I'm running Snarl on this, Snarl on this, Snarl on this, Eerie Impulse on this, and Struggle Bug and Light Screen on this. So that means I have 6 ways to lower his special attacking output, which is really, really good against an almost exclusively special attacking team. I'm curious to see what he can do to try and stop this, but I don't think he has a great answer for me just lowering his special attack as much as possible. Maybe he runs something like Weakness Policy on Armarouge because of my Snarls, but I also can OHKO it with something like Knockoff or Razor Shell, so I'm really curious to just see what he goes for. And I'll see you guys in the battle. Alright, hello everyone. Welcome to the match. He did, in fact, bring a Alolan Exeggutor. Makes a lot of sense. I think it's good to have another physical attacker up in here, and I think he's going to be running physical attacking Exeggutor. I really don't know why else he would bring it. So, thinking about my lead, I think that Volbeat is a great option. I think that Sinistcha is a great option. I might be able to just shut him down right away with Sinistcha. The question is, in Psychic Terrain, how much does that Expanding Force on Armarouge do? Answer's probably not enough. So I would imagine Sinistcha Samurott is a really good option for a lead here. I would want to imagine that. Ursa and Samurott is another very scary option. I think Samurott has to be in the lead. Raj is another great option just because I resist the... I think Raj is a really good lead just because I resist his powerful attacks. I can really put in work here. And then Volbeat in the back is great just because of the Rain Dance. Should always want to have that in the back. I like Ursa in the back here as well, though I'm not sure. Let's go with Ursa. I think it's just a pretty safe option. So, leaving behind 2 good Trick Room Mons, but we'll see. It's Indeedee Warrior on the lead, which is a little interesting. He does have Intimidate, so that's good to know. Knockoff should do a lot here. It could be Colberberry, which should be the only bad situation for me. I think Knockoff and Trick Room is probably to be expected, though. Maybe... You can't Terra Indeedee, which is really nice. But I think a double Knockoff makes sense, or a Knockoff Snarl. Knockoff Switch could make sense. I think Yeah, knockoff should be the play here. And then maybe we go for rock slide to get damage onto this thing. Let's just snarl just in case he switches. And he does switch. Interesting. Okay, so he does get up Trick Room. This was a good play. Or he goes for Mega Horn. I don't think that... Even though it could be good for him, I really don't think that's that good of a play for him. Just because I'm now in a situation where he has 2 physical attackers, right? But he doesn't have Trick Room up, and he really wants Trick Room up. So, I don't know how good of a situation that is for him, actually. He can click a Dragon-type move, or sorry, Grass-type move into here, but I can switch into Volbeat, just kind of like a bait and attack. And then he really wants Trick Room up, but I can knock off the Word Ear. And I think that might be the play. So let me go for that. He switches into Indeedee, who's just going to take so much here. Executor goes for Calm Mind, which is weird, but he does go for it. So I get rid of that item on the Indeedee, and now the Indeedee might be in... No, not in Struggle Bug range. Makes sense. Can very easily knock off, though. I think Struggle Bug does some damage into the Executor, so maybe not a bad option. I could go for that, and Rock Slide is pretty good because I get a flinch chance on this thing, but it doesn't kill Indeedee, so depending on what this Indeedee's bulk is, it could be a problem. Struggle Bug, I think knockoff is just good. He skill swaps, so he steals my Prankster, which actually doesn't affect me here. He goes for another Calm Mind, and this Executor is really setting up, but I don't know what he's trying to do with it. I imagine he must be a special attacking Executor if he's going for Calm Minds, because I don't know why else he would be going for them. And that feels like a big mistake to me, going for a special attacking, going for another special attacker on this team, but I'm not sure. I'm not exactly sure what he's going to go for. Word, I think it's some ground move. He does get high horsepower, so don't know what I want to do about that. He's really not in a bad spot, I will say. I'm just curious what his last is and what he's going to try and do with it. He goes for another Intimidate, right? I can get up Light Screen here, which I think might not be a bad play. I can go for another Struggle Bug just for chip. I think Light Screen might be good, but I outspeed, probably. I should probably just Struggle Bug here, and then maybe switch into Ursa. I think it does make sense, just to get rid of those the physical attack drops. He goes into Executor, so a Light Screen would have been a better play. And Weird goes for Trick, so he gives me the Choice Band. That's fun for him. That was a good play. I think Tailwind might be my play here, and then it feels hard to... Well, I'm in a good situation to click Tailwind and outspeed and kill, but it depends on what he goes for. Light Screen is another solid move. I think Tailwind, Hyper Voice does make a lot of sense. Only problem is I might not be able to kill, so maybe I go for something like Light Screen, Blood Moon. I think that makes a lot of sense. He goes for Throat Chop, which is perfect for me, and this should kill. It doesn't kill. Wow, that was a good play. And so I'm kind of forced to switch here, and I'm going to lose game one. It's almost better to let Volbeat not have a move here, but Ursaluna has to go for an attack and kind of just has to go down here, really. Yeah, he played this game very well. He goes for Side Shield Bash. That's kind of a mistake, yeah. And then he reveals that he is the Moringa Berry, but Executor is a little bit of a sitting duck in front of Raj. I can go for very comfortably a Rock Slide here, and then Struggle Bug has to be the play just to get damage off on Volbeat. I'm not exactly sure what people are talking about with failing things. I think he's talking about Psychic Terrain and why some of my moves on Volbeat didn't fail, but none of his moves will fail in or out of Psychic Terrain, so the Trick Choice Band is a good thing to know for the future. He did catch me off guard, I think, a lot this game. Warrior should go down here, and he has to reveal his last after Rock Slide. So, Arm Rouge does come out. Terra Water Rock Slide puts me in a great spot here because I can do a lot of damage to this thing, right? I could also go for Knockoff into it, but I'm not sure what he's going to go for. So I think Rock Slide is not bad, and Struggle Bug makes this a better play just because I can hit him super effectively. And he's Covert Cloak, I would imagine, on Arm Rouge. And his defenses drop, which is really good. He Giga Drain, so he does read me pretty well. But I do... Oh, less than I would have liked. So I'm actually now in a pretty uncomfortable position. I want to go for Knockoff here into something, but I don't know what it is. I think Knockoff into Arm Rouge makes more sense, but I think Rock Slide, again, is just not a bad play, so I probably have to go for that in Struggle Bug. And I get him quite low, really making that Exeggutor hurt. He probably goes for another Giga Drain. He does, and hopefully I hit both. I do, and Arm Rouge goes down, so I should be able to clutch up game one. It depends. These calcs say that he kills me, but Giga Drain has not been doing much. So I imagine I live this with a Knockoff. I do not. Wow. Okay, so he wins. That was a well-played game on his end. Wow. Yeah, I feel terrible. I feel terrible how I played that game. I was not thinking clearly at all. I should have just anticipated the Exeggutor. I knew that thing was going to be a threat once I saw it in team preview. I knew I should have respected it more, but I didn't. And that was a huge mistake. So Samurott really is the key to success here. I can't let him go down to something stupid like that, like I did game one. I think Sinistcha is also great here. I'm curious to see how he will adapt. I think Eerie Impulse is great just at shutting him down faster than he can deal damage. So I like Porygon 2 as a lead option as well. I think it's just good, generally speaking. I think this with Imprison is not a bad strategy at all. I definitely want Samurott here. And then for my last, I think Ursa's a great option, and Raj is also great. I think I probably want Raj. I think Raj looked really good in here. I feel bad not bringing Ursa just because it is so scary. But it's at a weird speed tier where it's a little too slow, it's sometimes a little too fast sometimes. So we'll see what he goes with, and he goes with Indeedee Warrior again. I can pretty safely go for... I copy the Psychic Surge instead of the Intimidate. That really sucks. So, I can imprison him fairly easily. I can Terra Blast the Warrior. I don't know why it's not showing his moves or giving him any stats, but I'm imagining he's max attack. I can Eerie Impulse the Indeedee if I want, and Imprison. I think that makes sense. I could Terra Blast something. Let's Terra Blast the Warrior just to get some damage off of it and go onto Imprison. So he goes for Light Screen. He Throat Chops me, which is a lot, but I have my Citrus Berry. I Imprison him. I can protect next turn. He can't protect next turn. I do nothing in a Warrior. Wow, that's good to know. So his Warrior, I think we can double check and see if he is faster than my Samurott. And he's not. Okay, so Samurott can pretty comfortably come out here, I think, and then protect. And he's probably going to go into... Yes, he does. Samurott's in a spot where he can go for Snarl for good damage. Knockoff is very tempting, so maybe I go for Knockoff. And then... At this point, it's like I don't have any redirection. Mega Horn's still super effective into me. So I think Machugotch not bad. I could switch into Raj, but I'm just not in a good spot here, actually, overall. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of this situation. I think this isn't a horrible play, so I'm just going to go for it. Curious to see what he goes for. He might time out here. He switches into Exeggutor. He goes for Follow Me, which means Indeedee does die. And I get like a little bit of health back. Maybe. No. Please get the burn. I don't even get the burn. Well, it's 20% chance. Can't be mad about that. Warrior comes back out. He gets the Intimidate drop, which is kind of what he wanted, I think. Getting a knockoff into Warrior isn't bad. He can't set Trick Room, but maybe he doesn't want to set Trick Room. Well, I can do a lot of damage. I probably can't kill, though. Maybe I go into Raj for that reason. Maybe I even Trick Room. Maybe I Trick Room here. I don't think he can kill, so I think I go for this play. This way I outspeed him no matter what, and Raj is in a really good spot to sweep, kind of, or be in a strong position. Poor little Menos. Right. Raj comes out. He goes for Sexual Bash and misses, which is really nice. Giga Drain does nothing. And then I go for Trick Room, and my speed is dropped. So, good spot here. Again, he can't protect. I can do pretty much nothing with Matcha Gotcha. So, probably beneficial to switch out on this side. Snarl makes some sense. I think Knockoff into Warrior makes a lot of sense. Maybe I go into Porygon. I think going into Porygon means I can Eerie Impulse the Executor, meaning its damage output is just tanked. So I think that's 100% the play. And then I Trace Harvest, so that's not really useful. Armrouge is about to eat a knockoff, though, and it loses so much of its health. And then Calm Mind on Executor. So I can actually go for Snarl here if I wanted to. This should... It does actually says it doesn't kill Armrouge. Maybe I go for this then, and Eerie Impulse the Executor for sure. But Rock Slide should be good here. I feel pretty comfortable in this position. I have my whole team alive. He is a weakened team. Executor's the only one in a decent spot, but he's about to get Eerie Impulsed, so... He does Terra Grass in the Armrouge, so it lives. That's a little bit annoying. Executor loses special attack. He goes for Energy Ball, expecting to Terra, and he doesn't get it. And then I get the Rock Slide Flinch, which is so nice. And now I can Eerie Impulse again. Oh, wow. And this Executor is in a spot where he's just in so much pain. He's going to be at -4 here. Also, oh, never mind. I was about to note something about the speed tier, but he just was reversing Trick Room. And I'm in a spot where Raj can comfortably switch out almost. He could be running high horsepower on this thing. What moves did he reveal game 1? And he revealed his whole moveset, actually. So, Mega Horn, Throat Chop. Mega Horn versus Raj. Raj actually tanks everything here. I'm expecting a Armrouge switch, probably. So, maybe a knockoff into this slot. And another. I should switch out here, probably. Okay, perfect. So Armrouge does go down here. He Throat Chops, which is fine, because even though I lose that, which means I can't get Trick Room back up, Samrock can come out now, uncontested. Snarl is an option for sure. I don't really know exactly what I want to go for here. I think definitely just kill the Warrior, right? And then probably Snarl on Executor. Okay, cool. He can do a little bit of damage, or a lot of bit of damage. That's fine, because I Snarl, I weaken him, I Snarl again. I could double Snarl, or I could Terra Grass. How much do I take? Nothing with that, so I think I Terra Grass Snarl. Boom, does a lot. I live easily. Get off another Snarl. Boom. Knockoff should kill. If it... Oh, whoops. Knockoff on this should kill. If not, then... Snarl. It doesn't kill! What the hell? Wow. So this is a bulky Executor, but we have knockoff, so... I've already revealed knockoff, so I should just go for knockoff on both. And Sam finally does something, bro. He put in work that game. That was a much closer game than I expected. I don't think that should be considered harassment. He beat me game 1, so I think that was a mistake on Charcoal's part. Interesting that he is really leaning into these two physical attackers. He's punishing me for just shutting down his special attacking a ton, but I feel like I'm not in too bad of a situation, though. I have clicked Snarl a lot and really trying to reduce that special attacking output. He really only has... Sorry, I forgot that Wardeer is his only physical attacker, so not in too bad of a spot if he just keeps leading Wardeer. What did I lead last game? I led Porygon and Sinistcha. So Sinistcha is actually a pretty good lead still, especially with the Terra. It means that Wardeer can't do too much. I kind of like it as a lead. Porygon is a pretty good lead too, just clicking those Eerie Impulses. I'm comfortable leading the same 4, though I feel like he will switch it up a little bit. I think I should lead the same 4, though, or have the same 4. I feel comfortable with these 4, and it is just another Indeedee Wardeer lead. Okay, so here I can... Clicking Trick Room is actually not bad for me. I can click Imprison just so he can't protect. Terra Water, Trick Room is fine. I don't love committing my Terra right away, though. Maybe I Protect, because I feel like he's probably going to target down this slot. And then Eerie Impulse into the Indeedee. He sends out Torkoal. Imprison is... Oh! If he goes for Trick Room here... Oh, he doesn't. Wait. He sends out Torkoal without Trick Room. Maybe he was expecting... He must have been expecting me to set Trick Room. I don't really see another. So I click Imprison here. He can't do a ton of damage, and then I Eerie Impulse, just so he really can't do a ton of damage. He probably protects Torkoal, but then he can't protect after this turn. He doesn't protect Torkoal. He's now at -2. He goes for Eruption, which I tank because of that Heat Proof, and he can't go for Trick Room. So, really good turn for me. I think Machagacha is not going to do a ton here, yeah, because I'm really not running any special attacking investment into Sinistcha. Protect is fine. Porygon can probably switch here, I would imagine, to Samurott. But Eerie Impulse works too. Machagacha actually does make more sense because he's probably switching, right? And then Terra Blast doesn't do a ton to Wardeer, so maybe I switch out here. He switches into Armarouge. I go into Samurott. He goes into Wardeer. He gets the Intimidate, which is annoying. I get off a little bit of damage, so better than wasting a Protect. I actually don't even hit the Wardeer, so really not a whole lot of damage. Then a Protect, and I'm in a position where I can click Knockoff if I want to, but I will die to a Mega Horn. Maybe I go into Raj. Maybe that's the play. I can Trick Room here if I want to. I think Trick Room is actually good for me here. Maybe I should probably Terra Water, though, if I go for Trick Room, which is not a situation I want to be in. Maybe I might Protect here and go into one of these two. Problem is, yeah, I think he will overcommit this turn. That's my theory. And then probably Porygon is the best, safest play, right? I copy his Intimidate, which is really nice. Though copying his other move would have been good too. He did overcommit his Terra, and he went for Mega Horn. So feel pretty good about that play. I don't know what he's going to go for this turn. It's still a little bit of a guessing game, but Terra Water feels okay here. He is Energy Ball, I know. So if he is going for Energy Ball, he would just smoke me instantly. That's kind of why I don't feel comfortable going for Terra Water here. Maybe I just rip the Trick Room. Maybe I go for a switch. Nah, I shouldn't switch. I think I probably do Trick Room here, and then Eerie Impulse into Arma. Oh, I live. I live. That's huge. Mega Horn doesn't kill. Oh my god. Wow, that turn could not have gone better for me. That turn could not have gone better for me. And Sun is gone, and Light Screen's gone, and the Psychic Terrain is gone. So that went quite well. I feel like Machagacha is kind of the only play I really got here. Though I could switch into Raj as well, because he's probably not going to hit this thing with too much. And then Recover, I think, makes the most sense. I think Recover makes the most sense here. He goes for Mega Horn, and then he goes for Energy Ball. Okay, perfect. So Raj is now in prime position. I have Knockoff, I have Snarl, but this is -2 Armarouge, so I think going for Eerie Impulse into this thing just means even if he switches, it's just neutralized entirely. Knockoff into Word Ear is good. Word Ear's revealed that he doesn't actually have a move that can hit Raj super hard, so knockoff here. And then Eerie Impulse makes sense, or just recover. I think I'm slower, so Eerie Impulse should be the play. Though, he can kill here if he goes for Mega Horn again, right? How much do I take? Too much. So I should go for Eerie Impulse, probably. He goes into Indeedee. He switches into Torkoal, but Torkoal's now -2 Torkoal, which is actually really good. And Indeedee's dead. So, great turn for me. He kind of wants to switch out Torkoal right away, even though he just came in here. So, puts me in a really good spot. Let's just double check Armarouge's moveset. He only revealed Armor Cannon that game, and Energy Ball, so we actually don't, and E-Force. So we do know most of his moveset. It's more than I thought. Rock Slide is always a good option here. Terra Water, Rock Slide is good. He's probably Energy Balling though. So Terra Water, and then I'm gonna Eerie Impulse. He helping hands, so he's probably helping handing Energy Ball, but he's -2. He E-Forces. Ooh, interesting. That was one of the plays he could have made. Samurai has 1 turn left of Trick Room, so maybe I go Sinistra and Protect. That feels not bad. Torkoal can't. Oh, if he's Solar Beam, then he can do. He can't even kill, actually, according to my calcs. Raj is in a good spot, but he needs to get off, or he's going to die, right? Unfortunately. Knockoff is good into whoever. Rock Slide is. I probably go for Rock Slide here, right? And hope for a flinch, and then maybe I let Sinistra go down. I also can high horsepower here. That would do a lot. Let's Rock Slide and Machagacha. He can only switch 1, actually, so I go for Snarl. Because then he's -3 on something. Right. It is the Word Ear. So he takes some damage from that. I get some health back. Hopefully I can live in E-Force. I don't think I do. He goes for Energy Ball. That was a misplay. Okay. Maybe he was expecting a Samu switch in. So, a Torkoal switch in does make some sense from him. I think I kind of have to go for Knockoff into the Word Ear here, though. And Machagacha, maybe? Just because something's dying. I live! Wow. This live is huge, because now Word Ear is just in a spot where, oh, he lives at 1%. But I can go for Snarl on Samurott now instead, and that's huge. Because I can go for Snarl, which will decrease Armarouge's special attack, and knock off as well. He goes in Torkoal. That's reasonable. I hit both. Armarouge isn't weakened. Energy Ball doesn't kill. And Armarouge hangs on barely. Wow. Brutal. But, I can lower Torkoal's special attack. I could also kill Torkoal, and I might have to do that. I think Snarl, though, has to be the play. High horsepower and Snarl. I'm running low on time. Oh my god. Wait, what? I have 8 seconds left? I've never seen this happen where, like, I'm gonna lose on time, but... Snarl should kill both. Snarl should kill both. If not, I don't think Torkoal can kill me. Oh my god. That was the most stressful set of my life. I'm the wrong trainer. I don't know why. But that should not have been such a close set. That should not have been such a close set. This team really threw me for a loop. I thought he was just running entirely special attacking stuff. He played me so well. I ran a bunch of weird sets and he punished it. I could have run normal stuff. I could have just shut down Trick Room entirely, but I tried to play into it a little. I played weird. I tried to lower his special attack as much as possible, and I really did. My bulk was huge, really came in clutch. Samurott looks so good in both these matchups, even though he really just clicked Snarl and then knock off 4 times this game, actually. Wow. Raj looked so good. Man. Porygon and Sinistra both surviving Mega Horns with no physical bulk at all. Crazy. So, very good set, and wow, I'm impressed with his performance. He played so much better in the last 2 weeks, and he actually got Fields of Punishment the last 2 weeks, but he still put up an amazing performance this week, and extremely impressed. Alright, so I'm now in a call with SnB, and SnB, what were you thinking going into this match and now after this match? What are your thoughts?
Well, going into the match, I knew that my biggest problems were going to be Ursa Luna and Samurott. And I also figured that you were going to try to make things slower than my team, because your base stats, I believe, are lower than mine in speed. Yeah, I figured if I was going to try and go into Trick Room, that I would definitely lose speed tiers. So I built my team Executor with Giga Drain in order to deal super effective damage to a non-Terra.
That was a great fake out. You have 5 special attackers here because you decided to go with special attacking on Executor. I thought you would go physical Executor, physical Wardeer. Executor caught me off guard. I mean, if you look at my team, you can see I had Snarl Ursaluna, Snarl Kaparaja, Snarl on Samurott. I had Struggle Bug on Volbeat. I had Light Screen on Volbeat. I had Air Impulse on Porygon. And I think I clicked all of those moves on all those Pokemon. But you saw all of my Pokemon every game, and I saw all of your Pokemon every game. It's like... There's no...
Yep. And the reason that I didn't go with, like, the Woodhammer Executor is Calm Mind, if I can start getting it set up, will at least mitigate and help me stay in on, like, Ursa Luna. Executor was really here for, was to be able to deal with Ursa.
Game 1, I thought that your Calm Mind Executor, I was like, okay, he's a special attacking Executor, no problem. I can shut that down because I have a Snarl Kaparaja on the field and a Struggle Bug and Light Screen Volbeat on the field. But then you skill swap away my thing. I go for Struggle Bug, so you're now -1. You Calm Mind, so you're now like back to neutral. And then you protect when I go for another Struggle Bug. And so like I'm just now in a situation where I can't decrease Executor's special attack until turn 9, which is like 3 turns later. So it's just getting off big damage. I should have known that like you're gonna click a grass type move, especially in front of my Terra Water Kaparaja, but I just really wasn't ready for it. And I think Executor shined like crazy that game 1.
I think it did too. I'm sad that I wasn't able to like use Harvest, which is what I originally planned, to be able to 1-1 everything except Samurott and Copper. Nothing else could knock my Citrus Berry. And so I was hoping Executor would kind of just sit in front of things and be super tanky and super annoying with a Citrus Berry and Harvest, and then Giga Drain to bring him back up.
And that's why I think we actually had a really fun matchup, because we both went for extremely bulky teams. We have a lot of strong Pokemon, like Armarouge is super strong. Executor, when he's set up, is super strong. Wardeer, we saw Oko turn 1. Turn 1 of game 1, he goes for
Mega Horn.
The Mega Horn was it just caught me off guard still, and
and the cool thing about Wardeer is I built it to be able to one-shot Samurott, but it can take a knockoff from Samurott. So sitting in front of Samurott, I was kind of like, my calcs anyway said that I could live a knockoff.
I'm going to put in our teams and I can run some calculations, but I think that with the Dread Plate, I might have... Oh, no, you did live. You did live. It's 80 to 95%.
So, yeah, Wardeer was always there to just kind of one-hit nuke, just in case he had to tank the knockoff from Sam.
And I will tell you that I knew in the back of my mind that your 2 potentially physical attackers, an Executor, Wardeer, could be problems, but I really dismissed them in prep, and I think that was my biggest mistake. I kind of looked at your team as a bunch of special attackers. I kind of forgot like the individual Pokemon, right? So I didn't counter the individual Pokemon, and I think that is what almost bit me. I think game 1 too, up until the almost last turn, I thought that I had it like a chance to win. At turn 10, I'm like, oh, I actually have a chance to win this because you're -2, but you Giga Drain and do 30% with Giga Drain. It was just incredibly surprising that a Pokemon at -2 could do that much damage. So I think games 2 and 3, I had to really focus on just decreasing your damage as much as possible, because even at like -2 you can still do a lot of damage. So I have to put you as low as I can, and we saw you at like -3 at one point or something like that.
Yeah, and I knew after I saw that just about everything was there to deal with my attack stats, I had to pivot around a lot. So
Yeah.
a lot of my hard switches, and some of them worked out. Some of them looked like, at least from my end, there was one where I doubled actually and brought in 2 of my backline. And it almost looked as if I'd predicted the switch that you made the same turn. And in all actuality, it was just me positioning for not having as many stab drops.
Yeah, I got you at -4, I think, or -3.
Yeah, the Terra Grass was really rough. In the team builder, like when I was preparing, I wanted to be able to counter your Trick Room. So I brought Trick Room on Executor, Indeedee, and Armor Rouge.
Wow.
But I had thought, just in case you Terra to like anything that resisted grass on the mons that Executor was supposed to deal with, I honestly really considered Dragon Pulse, Draco Meteor,
Yeah.
and even Flamethrower at one point, because
Wow. I would not have expected Flamethrower.
It was like, what if, for example,
Raj
Samurott
Terra,
versus
yeah,
Executor? Yeah, or Raj. Like, what if Raj wasn't? I expected Terra Water because bulky waters are really annoying to deal with, just in general. But if either of them had terra'd into, fire or steel, for example, Giga Drain just wasn't going to do anything, and that was Executor's only attacking move. So when I saw grass come up on Sam, I was like, oh man, I really should have picked like Draco or Flamethrower.
Well, I think at that point I probably was gonna win, but the Terra Grass also was bad for me. Like, once I realized game 1 that you could just Oko me and I couldn't Oko you, it's a question of how does Samurott beat Warrior one-on-one even if I outspeed you? And if I'm Terra Grass, I can't live your attack, so I'm in a really bad situation.
Yeah, the Terra Grass on Samurott made sure that no matter what, Wordier was able to take it with Mega Horn. Intimidate is a big one too. I brought Intimidate specifically for Copper and Samurott over Sap Sipper. And I thought about I considered Sap Sipper for Matcha Gotcha too, but Intimidate was just a way to mitigate damage. I could rotate Wordier in and out and basically tell Copper and Sam no.
Okay, looking at the calcs, even if I were like modest max special attack, Dark Pulse didn't even kill Warrior. I was considering running Special Samurott, but I figured maybe you run AV on something, maybe you're running something to like decrease my special attack, and I don't want to be in a situation where I can't do anything. Also, Gastrodon is a mon I definitely over prepped for, considering he never came out.
Yeah, and the reason Gastrodon is here, it was to give you that idea in your head, like, okay, well, Gastrodon could be in this force, so I can't safely click Aqua Cutter. That was the idea of bringing Gastrodon. Gastrodon was never meant to do anything but sit out and make you scared of clicking water moves.
I over prepped it for
See,
sure.
I also wanted, if I did feel like I needed Gastrodon, like if in game 1 you did get water happy, I had planned on using Gastrodon to not necessarily wall Samurott, but be able to sit in front of Samurott and Ursa Luna and tank 1 or 2 hits. I put Mirror Coat on it to tank a Blood Moon and fire back pretty hard.
That's pretty funny.
I thought it was, I thought it could be something that was cool, but I never expected to bring Gastrodon.
I also really overestimated Volbeat's usability here, and once you went for Choice Band Trick, I'm like, okay, I'm not bringing Volbeat again, because even though there's a chance you don't go for it, or it could be bad for you to go for it if like I can switch and then like you give Raj Choice Band or something like that, it's still not worth the risk. And Volbeat was designed to never be a liability here, because I always have Struggle Bug, I have Light Screen to decrease special attack, I have Rain Dance for Torkoal, but I figured it wasn't really worth it, even though I knew you were probably going for Torkoal game 4.
My issue wasn't with Psychic Terrain. I wasn't really worried about like Volbeat's status moves being a problem for me so much, but the Choice Band Trick was there to mess up Volbeat's supporting moves for your team, things like, Light Screen, just so you couldn't like safely start clicking things like that. You'd have to click one and then position around again.
Yeah, and you saw the value of that. Turn 6 actually was in a situation where I had Choice Band tricked on me, and I'd already clicked Light Screen with Volbeat. So what do? I can click Light Screen again and waste a turn just to switch out Ursa Luna, which actually isn't a bad play just because I give Ursa Luna a switch out because he really wants one here. All he can go for is Earth Power. But instead I'm like, okay, I'll let Ursa go down, and I have to switch out Volbeat, and that's not a play I want to have to make. Because I clicked Blood Moon, and because I couldn't click Hyper Voice or Snarl, my only option was Earth Power, and it didn't feel great here. So you forced me into a really bad situation that ended up losing me the game because I couldn't reposition myself when I really wanted to. And I think positioning was the name of the set, really.
It was, yeah. Whoever got the better positioning this set definitely was in a better position. You could see in game 1, my positioning is what led me to win that game. But then game 2 and 3, I was out positioned, and my stats were just devolved so much that I couldn't do much.
Yeah, there were certain turns where, like, you kept your -2 Armarouge on the field for 4 turns, just because, like, you couldn't really reposition it very well, and you were repositioning the other Pokemon. And I think the big thing for me was my outpositioning of my Samurott against your Wardeer. I think that, I already mentioned that, but I think that was the big thing. Overall, I feel like I had slightly better positioning games 2 and 3, but it was neck and neck, and I think Raj allowed me to have better positioning because I could just go for like Snarl or Rock Slide, and you can see that I didn't run Sheer Force on it, particularly for that reason. I wanted to be able to click those moves and have a flinch chance, or have like be able to drop your special attack. So I'm really glad I didn't go for Life Orb Sheer Force here. Snarl would have done similar damage, but
that's actually what I prepared for, was Life Orb Sheer Force. It was one of my biggest worries, is that I'd have to deal with it. So not seeing it was not only a blessing for me, but also a curse, because now I'm worrying about, okay, well, Terra Grass Armarouge can kind of take a Rock Slide and be somewhat okay, but is it going to flinch afterwards?
Yeah, and I think there was maybe one time it flinched out of the whole thing, but it's Terra Grass made it so it could really tank those hits, and I assumed Raj would do a lot more damage than it did, just because I was used to it with Life Orb Sheer Force, which is just a huge damage boost. So
it really is.
I was
and I tried to make sure I maxed every HP stat just because I wanted to make sure that I could tank hits. That was my big worry, is can I tank this hit and do something about it in the end?
It was a really good defensive battle, which is what made it a really fun watch. And I mean, game 1 went to 11 turns, game 2 went to 12 turns, game 3 went to 13 turns. So 11, 12, 13. It was that's the longest set we probably 36 total turns. I think that's probably the longest set we've had so far. Also, did you know at turn 12 that Samurott was going to clutch it up?
Like, I was pretty hopeful towards like the beginning, middle, but then towards the end it was kind of rough for me.
Yeah, I will say Sinistra felt much worse here than I expected. I think the biggest reason why the set was bad for me was because I tried to play into your Trick Room instead of countering it. Sinistra was the only mon that really could counter your Trick Room, but then he kind of just sat on the field and clicked weak Machagachas, so I didn't really accomplish too much with it. And there were certain situations where it was better for me to be in Trick Room than it was for you to be in Trick Room. So it felt like a situation that I kind of put myself in that really ended up biting me. I should have tried to counter your Trick Room more than trying to play into it. I think I had adopted the same mentality as last week versus TBL, where he was a rain team, but my team was a little bit better in rain, in my opinion, so I tried to play into it. Your team is definitely better in Trick Room, but my team also works in Trick Room, or I gave myself too much credit, or my team too much credit, to be able to beat you in Trick Room. So when you were able to do well in it and out of it, really caught me off guard. And Samurott was kind of the only mon that would outsped your whole team outside of Trick Room. I should have had another mon like that. I was considering running Tauros, or just considering running more speed on other Pokemon, and I decided against it.
Well, and in prep, I had figured, after I saw that Machagacha got in prison, and I've lost the last 2 weeks to Imprison, I figured it was either going to be Imprison to stop me from getting Trick Room at all, or you were going to try and get into Trick Room and then imprison me from stopping you to get out of Trick Room. So my plan was to just not play in Trick Room at all and kind of go from there.
Yeah, and I think that really played into your favor at a lot of moments. There were some times where I felt like, okay, I kind of have to set Trick Room here, even though, like, turn 5, I had imprisoned you, but you have Armarouge and Wardeer who are both faster than my Porygon and my Sinistra, so it's actually in my favor to set Trick Room here. And I think Porygon really shined game 3. I'm glad I was able to make him look a little bit better, because also Sinistra, like, barely living a lot of Mega Horns was really nice. The physical defense on these guys, despite no physical investment, is just amazing.
Yeah, it was really good. It was turn 10 after it finally died to Megahorn that I thought I was in a decent position, but then instead of going for Armor Rouge like I thought you were going to go for, you clicked knock off into Wordier and then pulled out a full HP Samurai. That's when beginning of turn 11 is when I knew it was done. Like there was nothing else I could do here.
If I had gone for the knockoff into Armor Rouge from Raj, then I maybe could have just knock-offed into the Wordier slot, and maybe I could have been in a better situation. But there are a lot of plays like that where, in such a long game especially, things could have panned out differently if X or Y happened. But I think the way they panned out was actually not bad for either of us. I think Game 2 was the only one that didn't feel super close, but even then it was a 12-turn battle, and Games 1 and 3 were incredibly close. And you squeaked it out in Game 1, I squeaked it out in Game 3. But if you look at turn 12, the 1% Wordier and the 20% Torkoal versus my 45% Samurai, if either of them were to live, or if I missed Snarl on either, actually, I would have lost. That's something that I completely forgot about, because you take that 5% accuracy, you take it for granted. You say, like, the 5% isn't going to affect me because it's 95% accurate, right? But if it... I lost a game in Season 2 because I'm in the championship, actually. I went 1 for 4 on Snarls with Miraidon. And so I could have easily lost if I had missed either of those here. But
yeah, and I did click I know I died to the Snarl with the Wordier, but I did click Megahorn. So if Snarl wouldn't have connected, it definitely would have been over at that point.
And I think that shows just how close it was. Like any little bit of RNG that had gone either of our favors would have turned the tides, maybe changed the result of the battle. So I think it was a great set. One of my favorites that I've ever played, even though in the moment I wasn't a fan of it. And obviously from a stats perspective, I'd rather just sweep you and then have such a close game. But it was fun to play. I love more defensive games just because VGC can be very focused on hyper offense. So I knew it was going to be a bit of a defensive battle, but never could have expected it to be this intense. So thanks for the set.
Yeah, I had fun with the set too. Thank you. It was a good game. You played really well, and it was more fun in doubles than I've had in a while. So it was really good. After I won that Game 1, I was feeling pretty high, and I was hoping that I could pull it off again Game 2, but I couldn't live those stat drops, man. You really killed me with the stat drops.
It is what it is, and I will say I think our league is great just because it's really friendly and it's good friendly competition. All the smack talk is in good fun, and so
yeah, for sure, man. The way you've been playing this season, even here where Game 1 you admitted like you didn't expect the special Executor, and you were pretty taken aback by the amount of damage that Wordier did. Game 2 and 3, you brought it back so easy, and I think that kind of skill is what has you in the running. I vote against you every week. It's just in good fun. I honestly think you take this all the way to finals and take Phalanx again, to be honest with you.
I really appreciate it. Hopefully I can. Obviously that's the goal, is to get the three-peat, but more than anything, I'm just looking to kind of have fun and to try and put up the best performance I can with my team. I think this week, maybe not my best performance. I feel like I played pretty well in those last 2 games, like you said, but Game 1 was really not a testament to my skill, I think. So it shows me that I have a lot of room for me to improve, and a match that I underestimated I should have kind of given more respect to. I thought, well, just by decreasing your special attack, I could win handily, and you really made me earn that win. So the lack of thought into your Pokemon specifically, I think I was thinking about your team overall as a whole, as like a collective, but I wasn't thinking about the individual Pokemon, which is something that I usually do a lot. And so I think I made a lot of oversights in the prep, and you certainly did punish me for it, but you almost forced me to get a loss just because of my oversights. And I think that it's good to have kind of those moments of self-awareness where you realize, well, okay, this is what I'm doing wrong. I think you definitely had those the last 2 weeks, and I think it showed this week that you were a completely different player and you were back up to kind of your usual skills. So I think you played incredibly, and I wish you nothing but luck in the future weeks.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate it. We're trying here, man. We're trying.
So yeah, anything else you want to say?
I got nothing else, man. I wish you the best in the next coming weeks, and I hope your Phalanx journey keeps going the way that it has been going, because you're a great player, man.
I appreciate it. See ya.
See ya.
So yeah, it was a really fun set against SnB. I think he's a great player who hasn't really shown it in the past few weeks, but I knew that he was a good player, and he definitely proved that here. Very impressed with his performance, and hopefully I can get a cleaner win in future weeks. Hopefully I can remember to change my avatar in future weeks, but I don't think this was necessarily a testament to my skill. As I said it kind of in the interview, I don't think I played as well as I could have. I made it a lot closer than it should have been, but he also did play very well, so all credit to him. Hopefully we can continue the winning streak. We have 3 in a row now. Started off with a loss, but I think we can definitely bounce back, though we are up against a tough opponent week 5, so we'll see how that does play out, but definitely not going to underestimate him or his team or make that same mistake again for the rest of the season, and you can mark my words on that. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in week 5.